Okay, so if you're early in your career, I want to share something that I wish someone had told me. See, there's this cognitive trap that almost everyone falls into, and it can seriously mess up your long-term plans. Understanding it now is, well, it's absolutely crucial for your future happiness. Let's get into it.
All right, let's just start with a quick thought experiment. I want you to picture yourself, but a decade ago. Think about your favorite music, what you wanted to do for a living, what you cared about. It's pretty easy to see just how much you've changed, right? I mean, the growth it's obvious.
Okay, now for the hard part. Try to imagine yourself 10 years from now. It's a lot tougher, isn't it? Most of us kind of feel like, yeah, we might change a little bit, but our core values, our big desires, we feel like that part is pretty much set in stone. And that feeling, right there, that's where the trap is.
So this particular blind spot actually has a name. Psychologists call it the end of history illusion. It's this deep-seated, mistaken belief that the person you are right now is basically the finished product. You look at your past self as a work in progress, but your current self, that feels like the final version. Here's kind of what's happening in your brain. When you look back, you see this clear story of rapid growth and change. But when you try to look forward, your brain just, well, it projects stability. It incorrectly assumes you've hit some kind of personal plateau, and it massively underestimates just how much you're going to change.
And what's really fascinating is just how predictable these changes are, especially when you're just starting out. You know, that burning desire for a high salary and external status at age 22, well, it very often turns into a deep need for autonomy and a real work-life balance by 35. That focus tends to shift from me to we.
And look, this isn't just some interesting psychological quirk we're talking about. This has huge real-world consequences. If you don't account for the fact that your future self will want different things, you can literally build a life and a career that you end up hating.
So let's walk through how this illusion can get you into some serious trouble. It tempts you, right, to make these huge, almost irreversible decisions based on what you want today. And in doing so, you sacrifice the one thing your future self will need the most: flexibility.
So it usually starts right after you graduate. You see a path. Maybe it's in a super specialized tech field or finance, and it offers a ton of money and prestige right out of the gate. So you jump on it, focusing completely on what your 22-year-old self wants: status and a big paycheck. So what happens next? You start using that income to build a life around that job. You make these really long-term financial commitments, like a 30-year mortgage, maybe a big car loan, all based on the assumption that you'll want to and be able to stay on this exact career path forever.
And then a decade goes by. Your values are different now. You find yourself craving more meaning, more balance. But you can't leave. You literally can't afford to. Those financial obligations have you locked in. People call this the golden cage, and it was designed and built by a younger you who just didn't know any better.
This whole illusion really pushes us towards two dangerous extremes. On one hand, you've got the luxury trap, where you're just chained to a high-stress job forever to pay for a lifestyle. But on the other hand, you have the deprivation trap, where you sacrifice all of your joy right now for a future self who might not even want the things you're saving for. Both are just really poor planning.
Okay, the good news is you can fight back. There's a way out of this. The whole strategy isn't about perfectly predicting your future self. That's impossible. It's about preparing for an unknown future by building one absolutely critical thing into your life: optionality.
I want you to think of your skills as either keys or locks. Niche skills, like knowing one company's internal software or a coding framework that's going to be obsolete in 5 years, those are locks. They lock you in. But transferable skills, things like communication, leadership, creative problem solving, those are master keys. They open countless doors you can't even see yet. You have to prioritize the keys.
So let's turn this into a practical tool that you can actually use. Think of this as a mental checklist to run through before you make any big, binding decisions, especially early in your career.
So before you take that super specialized job or before you sign that massive loan, just stop. Ask yourself these 3 things and be honest. Is this opening doors or is it closing them? Is there an exit ramp? And maybe most importantly, are you just doing this for the person you are today, or are you leaving some room for the person you're going to become? To really make this strategy stick, let's build a simple framework you can remember. The first part is about accepting a fundamental truth about yourself. It starts with the letter A.
The second part, well, this is your defense against becoming a one-trick pony in a world that changes super fast. This one is D.
And the final piece, really the whole point of this entire approach,
It's what all this planning actually buys you, and that is P.
Put them all together and you get ADP. This is your core strategy. Anticipate that you will change. It's not a maybe, it's a certainty. Diversify your skills so you're never backed into a corner. And above all else, preserve your options. Don't make irreversible choices when a more flexible path is right there.
So as you get ready to write the next chapter of your career, think about what you're holding in your hand. A chisel carves your current desires into stone. It makes them permanent and really hard to change. But a pen lets you edit, revise, and start a completely new chapter whenever you want. Give your future self the gift of a pen. Trust me, they will thank you for it.